imagine you're in the jungle with your friend and both of you have information. You know where the tiger is and you know that it's lurking. Your friend knows that they can't run as fast as you can. Who's going to get eaten by the tiger? It's more than likely going to be your poor old friend, because you're aware. You're aware of the tiger and you're aware of its location. So let's go outside the jungle, into the COVID jungle, and look out for financial tigers. So what's a financial tiger? That's just not knowing where your actual money is. It's just being unaware. And I suppose the most aware thing you can do is understand your behaviour to money, because it's your behaviour to money that impacts your financial well-being. In fact, it impacts your financial well-being to the tune of 61% of your overall financial well-being. So it's worth understanding and being aware of your behaviour to money. So let's just have a look at what that all means. You form your behaviour to money by age 7. Yes, 7. There's a spender, a slender, and a defender. They're the 3 behaviour types. So the spender is somebody who has no mechanical relationship with money. They don't follow it, they don't track it, they don't really know where it is, but they love spending it. At the other end is a defender. A defender knows where every cent is. In 2020, defenders just jumped straight into action, followed every budget, did everything right, kind of enjoyed some of it, in fact, because the people around them saw a defender in action. So 2 very opposite types, and in the middle is the slender. The slender oscillates between spending too much and getting guilty, or getting really good with their money and tracking it, but feeling as though they can't keep doing that. So they're the 3 behaviour types. Be aware of who you are. And as we will talk about a bit later, just imagine if you're a spender and you're married to a defender. What could possibly go wrong? So that's a very important thing around awareness. And awareness really is the first of 4 tactics to change your money habits. So awareness and acknowledgement. The second tactic is to actually understand about money. Study it, understand what it's doing. Because if you study it, you'll know the government entitlements, you'll know what's going on. But for spenders, they don't like studying money. They don't like reading about it because they know they'll be told to stop spending, and that's not what spenders want to hear. But if you are a spender and you do need to increase your knowledge, adopt a defender. Defenders love sharing their knowledge around money. Just ask them. The third piece of habit change is around mindfulness and intention. Before you buy, think about it. Be a bit more intentional. A great little tip is to understand your hourly rate after tax. So this is what you get paid hourly after tax. And if you do that and you start to think, well, I'm going to buy this thing, but it's going to take about 9 hours of work for me to pay for it, it just slows you down. It's part of that whole idea of being intentional. You may still buy it, but you've slowed yourself down. And the 4th bit in habit change is good old-fashioned sleep, that wonder drug. And what we've learned, and particularly through a Duke University study, is those who are sleep deprived have a very poor buying habit. They actually can't see the downside of a purchase. It's quite amazing. You just think of that. You wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning and you're a spender. And the first thing you do is you look at your phone and there's an online sale on. You're blind to the downside of that purchase. I've been guilty of that. I don't know whether you have, but it's really quite an important thing is sleep. And there's many ways you can improve your sleep. The last piece in our little puzzle around moving towards having a happier relationship with money is to talk about it. You know, civilizations from the start of time have passed down information through wisdom and storytelling. But for some reason, money has slipped off the radar. People's money stories have turned into stories around oh, that house went for this, or the price of bananas has gone up. There's all these sort of stories going on around money, but they're not about your actual relationship with money. That's what we think really changes the dial. So let's just have a look at 3 different types and how you could start a money conversation. Firstly, singles. You know, that's the largest growing demographic in Australia. People who are choosing to be single. Now, if you're on your own and you're not living near anybody who has a good relationship with money, go and adopt a defender. Find somebody in your broader network who's good with money, a defender, and talk to them about what you're seeing and thinking. It's not advice, it's just asking them, what are they thinking? Particularly in crazy times like now, it's a really good idea to talk about money. What about if you're in a relationship? I said recently that, what could possibly go wrong if a defender and a spender were married? Well, a lot of things go wrong if you don't talk about it. And there's this great little equation that can help couples talk about money. And you can see it here. It's performance times time over price. And I'll tell you a very quick story. Just imagine if you went to buy a toaster and all you wanted was toast. So you're looking at performance and you're saying, well, all I want is toast. So if they all perform similarly, then performance doesn't really matter. Time. Most toasters, whether they're expensive or cheap, last about the same amount of time. So then price becomes the issue and you give yourself permission to buy the cheaper one. Very different if you're buying an item of technology like a laptop or a new phone where performance is nuanced, then you may then look at performance and say that's the main criteria. Time not so important, so I'm prepared to pay more. The reason why we think this is a great tactic is that we're putting a little bit of science into the art of having a conversation around money. Finally, kids. Boy, we said that kids form their behaviour to money by age 7. So those are the very formative years. And our suggestion here is if you've got kids, start to talk about money early, but more show them around money. Make it a game. Get them to start to predict how much money will be left over at the end of the week through savings, and give them a little bit of an incentive to pick the right prize. What you've taught them in that little moment is the idea of rewarding yourself for saving. It's just the start of a very big journey in demonstrating to kids early around money. The other big tip is delayed gratification. And we all know that some kids can't wait. They just need it now. So you may have a little spender on your hands if that's the case. So you've just got to work on that. Our view is the greatest gift you can give your child is the gift of understanding their behaviour to money so they can adopt new habits to go through life. Because defenders by aged 18 have already worked out the money world. They're on their way early. Spenders are on their way to spending early. So just imagine if you could change things up a little bit. Finally, we said we wanted to make you happier about your relationship with money. And really there's just a simple formula. If you're aware of your behaviour to money, you're on the road to change. If you start to change little habits, like the one we mentioned earlier around your knowing your hourly rate, you are on your way. Because what happens there, one little habit change reduces stress. It may not reduce much, but a few little habit changes along the way, and all of a sudden you have a happier relationship with money. And wouldn't that be a great present to give your kids or to give yourself?